Welcome to the Dirt Court Jester Podcast, your home for dirt track racing across the country and just as important right here in our backyard. Coming to you from the great state of Ohio, this is Josh with the Dirt Court Jesters. In episode 9, we're going to talk about the purses for wing sprints versus non-wing sprints and get a perspective from a driver and a series owner. I hope you guys are ready to get dirty. This week in dirt racing history, we're going to go back to March 27th of 2010 at the Green Valley Speedway in Alabama for the second annual Crate Nationals, where Jonathan Davenport would hold off Chris Madden to win $25,000. The winner of this race the year before, Austin Dillon. And that's this week in dirt racing history. I want to give a shout out to Victory Fuel, from Throttle Punch to Lucky Lemon. Both flavors are dynamite, 12 packs and 4 packs, and even some cool merchandise as well. Go to drinkvictory.com and use the code Gestures10 at checkout to save. Drinkvictory.com and use the code Gestures10 at checkout to save.
Acknowledge me!
Recapping the previous race week, March 24th through the 31st of 2024. We're going to start at BAPS on March 24th, where Corey Lyson would get the win. Troy Wagaman Jr. would finish second, and Danny Dietrich would finish third from his 13th starting position. So way to get up there, Danny Dietrich. Lucas Oil Late Models at Atomic on March 24th. Jonathan Davenport would take the victory. Mike Marlar in second, and Devin Moran would finish third. March 29th, Attica Raceway Park finally gets to open the gates, and it was a good night for them there at Attica. Not such a good night for Cap Henry and Greg Wilson. Cap Henry gets upside down in Heat 2. Greg Wilson gets torn up lining up for Heat number 3. The feature would be a good one. Cale Thomas would lead until 2 to go, where he would bobble, and Bryce Lucius would take the lead and take the checkered flag to get his first win in a 410 sprint car. So congratulations to Bryce Lucius with the victory. Cale Thomas would finish second, and Nate Dussel would round out the podium. Saw some pictures posted of the long lines once the gates opened there at Attica. Great to see that. And it sounded like a lot of drivers were happy with the track. They had brought in some new dirt in the offseason. Comments from DJ Foose, Cale Thomas, Craig Mintz, just about how happy they were with the new track surface. Great start to Attica 2024 season. Long lines at the gate. Drivers happy with the track. You can't beat that. Can't wait to see what happens throughout the season there. Moving to Williams Grove, March 29th. 410 sprint cars, where Anthony Macri would start 17th, and he would grab the checkered flag. Anthony Macri from 17th to the win. Dylan Norris from 14th to second. And Mike Walter II rounds out the podium. Heck of a drive for Macri. Not a bad drive there for Dylan Norris either. And Dylan Norris wasn't done. He decided he was going to jump in a 358, and he gets the victory in the 358 sprint car that night. So heck of a drive for Dylan Norris, and obviously a heck of a drive for Anthony Macri as well. Power I Midgets, March 29th, Port City in Oklahoma, where Tanner Thorson would get the win. Ryan Timms would finish second, and Cannon McIntosh would round out the podium. Moving to Indiana, March 29th at Paragon, and the No Way Out, where CJ Leary would get the win. Robert Ballou would finish second in the throttle. Shane Cottle would round out the podium. The World of Outlaw sprint cars were to visit Thunderbird Speedway, but Mother Nature had other plans, and the race was canceled due to wind. 40-mile-an-hour winds. Felt it was a major safety issue, so they did not race, unfortunately. Hopefully there's a chance they get back to Thunderbird sometime. Continuing March 29th, the dirt car late models were at Clarksville Speedway in Tennessee for the previously rained out Toilet Bowl, night number 1. Ashton Winger gets the win. Max Blair finishes second, and Tanner English rounds out the podium. Maquoketa Speedway in Iowa for the Nippy 50, night number 1. Bobby Pierce gets the win. Ryan Gustin finishes second, and Brian Shirley would round out the podium. Moving to March 30th, we're going to go to Florence Speedway in Kentucky for some late model action, where Adam Strickler would get the win. Josh Rice would finish second, and Cameron Marlar would round out the podium. The Power Eye Midgets still at Port City there in Oklahoma on March 30th, where Ashton Torgerson would get the win. Tanner Thorson would finish second, and Cannon McIntosh would round out the podium. Moving back to Maquoketa Speedway in Iowa for the Nippy 50 night number 2, and Ricky Thornton Jr. wins $20,000. Ryan Gustin would finish second again, and Brandon Shepard would round out the podium. The dirt car late models at Clarksville Speedway for night number 2 of the Toilet Bowl. Max Blair gets the win. Ashton Winger finishes second, and Tanner English would round out the podium once again. The World of Outlaw Sprint Cars would go to US 81, and history would be made. Rico Abreu comes away with the win, making it 9 different winners in 9 different races. Hell of a start to the season for the Outlaws. I mean, do you care who's coming in and getting wins if you're making history like this? I don't know if you do or you don't, but 9 different winners in 9 different races. Sign me up. I want to be there to see who wins the next one. David Gravel finished second, and Donnie Schatz would finish third. 6 different drivers passed 9 or more cars in that race. And oh, by the way, the largest crowd in US 81 Speedway history. So, hey, hell of a night there for the Outlaws at US 81. We obviously talked about Attica having a hell of a night to start the season. Great to see dirt racing having a great weekend.
Let me talk to you.
This week's talking points, we're going to start with USAC and NOS announcing the Hoosier Trifecta. If you guys didn't catch this, it's going to be a series inside the series. 3 races, August 24th at Kokomo for $30,000 to win, September 14th at Hobstop for $20,000 to win, and finishing up October 12th, Lawrenceburg Speedway, $20,000 to win. And if there's a driver lucky enough to win all 3 of those races, they get an additional $30,000 on top of that. So, chance for a driver to win $100,000 in 3 races. Great to see USAC and NOS working together, getting some big money in with the traditional non-wing sprint cars. Can't wait to see it. Hopefully get a chance to be at Lawrenceburg on October 12th. I know they've got the back-to-back nights for the Fall Nationals there, so really looking forward to this mini-series inside the series. USAC and NOS coming together and throwing some money into the sport. Great thing to see. Can't wait to get there. This also brought up a comment from Cody G on our X account as to why wing sprint cars have more money in the game than the non-wing sprint cars. And this is a topic that I've thought about in the past. I actually had notes written down to kind of touch on this topic, but never really did. And honestly, I don't know that I really truly put a ton of thought of it until the comment from Cody came up. So I got to tell you, my first inclination, my first thought about this topic, kind of an outside the box thought, was, does the wing on top of the car play any factor in terms of sponsors coming on board, in terms of companies wanting to pay to put their name on your car? Because we all know on a wing car, there's more space to advertise and it's more visible compared to the non-wing traditional sprints. I don't know if that plays a factor or not. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. That seems kind of silly to me, but I mean, essentially it's a moving billboard, so maybe it does. Like I said, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. But in looking and researching into this topic, I landed on IndianaOpenWheel.com and their forum in February of 2022, in which the owner of Fast and Boss, Aaron Fry, had made a comment where he felt that winged racing was more identifiable across the country than non-winged. Fry would note that he had to call and ask to get dates for Boss, their non-wing traditional series, but he had to turn down dates for their Fast Winged 410 series. So on this note, I reached out to Aaron to see if I could, 1, confirm that that was actually him that had posted that, and 2, to see if he still felt this way. And thanks to Aaron Fry for actually responding to me in a fairly lengthy email. Aaron would reach out to me and was cool enough to respond and would confirm the prior comment that he had made and essentially say that this season he had no trouble booking 33 shows for Fast and selling every marketing spot. He went on to say that for Boss, their non-wing traditional, it was a struggle to book 19 races for half the price as Fast, and that they've only sold 33% of their marketing spots. So obviously there's something different. And, like he said in his initial post, that just wing sprint car racing is more identifiable. Aaron would go on to say that they ran Hilltop last season and received several messages from fans who didn't realize or know that there were wingless sprint cars out there racing. And obviously, to no surprise, those fans also mentioned that was their new favorite class of racing. So if you've been to a non-wing sprint car race, you've loved it. We know how those guys clang and bang around the track. So no surprise there. Again, thanks to Aaron Fry for reaching out to me. Glad to see they got all their fast shows booked without issue, all their marketing spots filled. Now, hopefully, the remaining marketing spots for their Boss can get filled up with this. I thought on top of asking a series owner, we'd ask a driver. So I reached out to Ryan Barr, driver of the number 2B, non-wing traditional 410, and Ryan would respond by explaining that he understands the difference as he feels wing sprint cars are more expensive, and that he's also seen payouts for non-wing sprint cars increase and would like to see the payouts more through the back half of the field, as it would help family-run race teams like his get to the track. So there we have a non-wing traditional driver, really his own family team, saying that he understands the difference in the money between wing and non-wing, but also has noted that he's seen the payouts go up for them non-wing sprint cars. So that's a good thing to see, and I think we can all agree we'd love to see payouts through the field. I mean, we always talk about that. Anytime we're talking about more money in a race, if it goes through the field, that's certainly my preference. But thanks to Ryan and thanks to Aaron for responding and giving us their insight on it. Really cool that those guys reached out and were a part of the talking points this week. Moving on to Jeremy Elliott's Sprint Car Unlimited 9 in 90 segment from March 26th of 2024. Jeremy would talk about the long break at the beginning of the high limit season. Jeremy understands the break, but thinks it's too long, feels that next year's high limit schedule will be very different. I think we've talked about this on here, and I've got the same feeling. I'm just not sure on the way the seasons start. And I actually looking today at the schedule. This isn't dirt racing, but IndyCar. They aren't back for 3 weeks. They've raced twice, and now they're off for 3 weeks. I don't understand that. Once you get your season going, if you start out, especially in a slow time, baseball hasn't started, football's gone, you're getting your start at a point where there's not a lot of other competition out there. I think if you strike while the iron's hot, why don't you want to keep that progress and taking lengthy breaks? I don't feel like that's going to get people who are new to your sport to stick around, which is ultimately the goal of these series, is to bring the new folks in, because us people that have been around, we ain't going anywhere. We grew up on it. We love it. We're not leaving it. But they're trying to bring in the new people who maybe aren't familiar with it. And if you start your season in February or March, and then you take off 2, 3, 4 weeks, 5 weeks in between your next race, I don't understand how you're benefiting off of that. I think there's too much of a break there. So I would like to see the series work on a different kind of schedule where once they start, maybe they don't really stop. I know the Outlaws this year, they're giving the guys off the week of 4th of July. If you start towards the end of February instead of the beginning of February, and you keep going, maybe you add an additional break in there. So you have the week of the 4th off, but maybe you throw in another week somewhere. 1 week, that's not a big deal. 3, 4, 5. That's when you're going to start losing people.
Woo!
Moving on to local coverage, we're going to start with the news out of Sharon Speedway on a Super Series event. We're going to pay a minimum of $4,000 to win and $400 to start for all 410 sprint car shows in 2024. Great news out of Sharon. We know Attica stepped up their game with payouts similar to this. And we all know that if the tracks are going to start paying out, which we hope they do, some more money in the pockets of the drivers and the teams, we got to make sure us as fans, we get to the track as well. So awesome news out of Sharon. Can't wait to see what they do there this season. Moving on to camping. We missed it last week. I'm surprised you guys didn't yell at me. Kings Royal camping at Eldora. Lots 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Silo lot and main lot, they're all sold out. North side, 3 sites left. BFE, 34 sites left. In Eldora Village with just over 100 sites left. As of this recording on March 31st, we posted on X about World 100 camping at Eldora. If you're trying to camp at Eldora for the World 100 and you don't have a site, I'm not sure you're going to get one. Lots 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Silo lot and main lot, they're all sold out. North side has 2 sites left. BFE has 5 sites left. And Eldora Village is down to just 1 site left. So you better get on it. I know Speedy's kind of catty corner. Maybe they've got some sites left. World 100 camping at the track or around the track is going to be sold out. For that matter, I think the Kings Royal will be as well. Just going to take it a little bit longer. But I would not wait. If I was trying to camp for either of those events at the track, I would get on it right now. Also want to talk about Jacob Horde. He's going to be providing social media content for Attica and Fremont this season. You guys know Jacob. He's always been providing good content out there. Part of the Ohio Dirt Track podcast. Just congratulations to Jacob. He's always been a cool guy. I met him at the track a few times. So can't wait to see what he does there at Attica and Fremont. I know he'll continue to provide great coverage. Lastly, we're going to wrap up the local coverage, talking like we usually do. Millstream Speedway, they're still looking for help. I don't think they were planning on working this weekend due to it being Easter, but I know they got some folks out there yesterday because the weather was great and some people showed up to work on the bleachers, so awesome to see that. I'm sure they'll be back out there next weekend, so if you can, go to Millstream Speedway's Facebook, let them know you're eager to help Saturday or Sunday. They've been hooking their folks up with lunch, and who knows, you might get to see something before anybody else does. So get out to Millstream Speedway if you're close to the Findlay area. Give them a hand getting that track ready to roll.
I'm the tower of power, too sweet to be sour. I'm funky like a monkey. Sky's the limit and space is the place.
Series, teams, drivers, tracks, dirt media. This is your time, and this is your spotlight. The spotlight is on, and this week's spotlight is on the Jackson County Speedway. Jackson County Speedway is a 3/10-mile dirt oval, 25 minutes southeast of Chillicothe, Ohio. If you guys will remember, Jackson County is one of the tracks we mentioned that has been brought back to life for the 2024 season. They're under new ownership, and checking out their Facebook, they have done a lot of work out there. Unfortunately, they still have some work they need to get done so they can open up on Friday, April 5th. They need to get the catch fence all taken care of and get some buildings in place so they can get ready to race. Hopefully they can get that done this week. Maybe some folks can get out there and give them a hand in order to get that done. And checking out the sponsorship for the various series that they're going to have there. Notice the Sport Mods, 305 Sprints, Crown Vics, and Enduros are all open. I'm sure if you were willing to sponsor any of those series, they'd be more than happy to listen. Go to racejcs.com for more information. And looking at their schedule, they've got a lot of races scheduled, starting with April 5th, the season opener. UMP Modified, Sport Mods, Compacts, Crown Vics, and Enduros. We're going to move on down to May 3rd, where the Steel Block Late Model Series stops by with 305 Sprint Cars, Sport Mods, and Crown Vics. And May 31st, 410 Sprint Cars, Sport Mods, Compacts, Crown Vics, and Enduros. June 8th is going to be the Sport Mod Nationals, $1,098 to win for the UMP Modifieds, $1,098 to win for the Sport Mods, $322 to the Compacts. Crown Vics and Enduros will also be present. Moving to July 5th, 305 Sprint Cars, Sport Mods, Compacts, Crown Vics, and Enduros. In August, we've got modified Sport Mods, Compacts, Crown Vics, and Enduros for most of that month until August 31st when 410 Sprint Cars, Sport Mods, Crown Vics, and Enduros are on tap. In September, the super late models, Sport Mods, Compacts, Crown Vics will be there on the 14th. October 5th is championship night for the modified Sport Mods, Crown Vics, and Enduros. And they're going to wrap up the season on November 25th, Gobbler Day, with some late models, UMP modified Sport Mods, Compacts, Crown Vics, and Enduros. So a lengthy schedule there for Jackson County Speedway, racing almost every week once they get started. Mainly UMP modified Sport Mods, Compacts, and Crown Vics, but as you guys heard, they've got steel block late models stopping by, 305 Sprint Cars, 410 Sprint Cars. They got the Sport Mod Nationals. They've got the Gobbler Day at the end of the season. So just a lot going on for bringing back to life a racetrack. Good luck to those guys in Jackson County. Series, teams, drivers, tracks, dirt media. If you've got news you want to get out, send me a message on X at Dirt Court Jester. And remember, the spotlight is always on.
I drank a beer. I drank another beer. 3 beers. 4 beers. Oh no.
Wrapping up this episode and talking about racing to come, we're starting to get busy here in Ohio. April 5th, Attica Raceway Park's going to have 410s, 305s, and late models. Hilltop Speedway is going to have late models, modifieds, mod lights, and mod stocks. Jackson County Speedway modified sport mods, compacts, Crown Vics, and Euros. Moeller modifieds, sport mods, compacts, legends, and Crown Vics. The XR Super Series is going to be at Bulls Gap in Tennessee. And the World of Outlaw Sprint Cars are going to visit US 36 in Missouri. On April 6th, Atomic is going to have the Fast Series and the SBLS Steel Block late models. Fremont's going to run 410s, 305s, and dirt trucks. Skyline Speedway is going to race late models, modified sport mods, and 4 cycles. Wayne County is going to have 410s, super late models, modified super stocks, and mini stocks. The XR Super Series again at Bulls Gap in Tennessee for $30,000 to win. The Northern All-Star late models are going to be at Brownstown in Indiana. And the World of Outlaw Sprint Cars are going to be at Arrowhead Speedway in Oklahoma. Finally, on April 7th, Eldora Speedway is going to open their season with some stock cars. And that's going to wrap up this week's episode of the Dirt Court Jesters podcast. Thanks for listening and helping us build this thing. We just got to build it one lap at a time.
Goodbye. Mwah, and good night, bang.
Thanks for listening to the Dirt Court Jesters podcast. Give us a like, give us a follow, give us a shout out. Let your friends know on X and YouTube as well at Dirt Court Jester. And we hope to see you guys at the track.